Coming up in this episode, we do some thrifting, we go to a consignment shop, and we do a couple of DIY projects, so stay tuned to the end if you like those. Well, I made a trip to Silverton, Oregon to stock my space at the Homestead Relics shop that I have a space in, and I had to stop into Somewhere in Time. This is a fun little half antique, half thrift store, and I can find some really good things here usually. If you're new to my channel, I am a vintage reseller, and I'm always trying to find things to flip for a profit. They do have some high prices as well as some good low prices. I spotted this mirror and it was $35, which isn't super cheap, but it's a great price for that mirror. It's really cool. I definitely brought that home with me. I'm also looking for items to do a thrift flip on because I love crafting and creating as I'm an artist by nature. At first I thought this was like Weller pottery or something, but it wasn't. What are those? I don't get it. I like that etagere, but not for $65. I don't need it. That's actually not a bad price for that though. I see them going for about $135 to $165. Brass is becoming harder and harder to find in Oregon. Apparently there's a lot of people out there that will buy the brass and then take it to the scrap metal places and sell it, which is just so sad. So I definitely was picking up these brass bells because I hear there's a good market for those. This was a little beaten up. I mean, I could have probably shined it up and made it cute, but I decided to pass on this item. This is a little crumb catcher. I thought it was really cute, but I didn't pick that up either. Nor the spittoons. This chandelier made me laugh out loud. Can you imagine storing your canned goods right above your head? These are nice Robert Maxwell style pottery craft decanter with cups, but it's almost a retail price. I did pick up these little Mary Mushroom salt and pepper shakers, but my daughter coveted them, so she has them. They're not in my haul. At first glance, I didn't realize that these butterflies were salt and pepper shakers. They look like treasure craft to me. I'm not sure if they are or not, but because they have the souvenir Utah on there, I did not buy them. These flow blue plates are absolutely beautiful, and $75 isn't a horrible price for them because they usually sell for $25 for one plate, so that would be like getting one plate for free since there were a set of 4. That's also a beautiful cabinet. Well, here's my haul. I got a brass sailboat. I did pay $10 for it, but they're worth a lot more than that, so I think it was still a good deal. I've heard that brass bells are quite in demand, so I did pay $10 for this one and $5 for this one. I found this beautifully painted little vase for $5. I found a little Delft creamer for $5. I found this cute little bag for $3. I'm not sure what anybody would put in it besides maybe some chapstick, maybe some headphones. I don't know, but so cute. I just couldn't pass it up. I found these funky lanterns where the tea light fits in. They were $3 each. Might paint that because I'm not crazy about that color, but I'll see what it looks like when they have candles in them. They might glow really pretty. I found a cute little set. I probably won't wear them together because I'm not super into matchy-matchy, but this shirt has some cool embroidery on it, and the skirt does too down at the bottom. And the set was $9.99. And then lastly, I purchased this little suitcase for $25, which is actually a decent price because vintage suitcases are kind of expensive. I did pay up a little. I would like to have paid $6 or $7, but I have a project I want to do with it. I think it's pretty cool. I like the inside. I'm going to have to open it up and air it out because it does have a tiny bit of a old smell, not like mildew, but just that smell of like it's old because it's old. And here's that beautiful mirror I bought. I didn't hold it up in my haul because I didn't want the reflection to show the ring light and blind you guys. And that's my haul. Well, I was headed into Tigard, Oregon to find a place called Laurel Cottage Designs. And it says that it's located inside of Musie's on Main. I had no idea what Musie's was. Well, it's a really cool consignment shop here in Tigard, and I thought I would show you guys. Look at this awesome Johnny Was shirt. Now, yes, these are not cheap prices because it's a consignment shop, but it's far below retail, so it's a good deal if you're just wanting to go look at high-end clothing. I myself usually try to thrift these items, but if I was in a hurry to find something for a special occasion, I might go to some place like this for sure. Look at this adorable dress. I've never heard of this brand before, Veronica Beard, so it's a good idea to go through these shops and look at the valuable clothing so you can learn about what's valuable when you go thrifting too. Well, here's what I came here for, the Laurel Cottage Designs shop. So it's almost like they rent a space right in the middle of this consignment store. And I was looking for decoupage paper. Those aren't actually paintings, they're decoupage paper on canvas. You can do so many things with decoupage paper. A lot of the items in this store are geared towards furniture flipping and painting and decoupaging, which is fun, but I probably wouldn't do something so large. I like to do smaller items. There's a ton of variety of transfers and paint inlays and decoupage paper here. They even have molds for pressing paper clay or resin into. Here are some stencils. I love using stencils. I bought one or two of those stencils in there. See, this is for dressers and such, like this little dresser. A lot of this is done with paint inlays and decoupage. Here are those molds I was telling you about. And you can use them for all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be just for furniture. So I have a DIY project that I would like to show you. My daughter cleaned out her room and she had thrown a whole bunch of stuff in the garbage. So I was going through it to make sure that there wasn't stuff that needed to go to the goodwill or that I could salvage. And I found this ugly head. And you know what? I have a really fun project I'm going to do with it. And I can't wait to see what you guys think when it's done, if it's cool or if it's just stupid. But anyway, let's get on with it and see how it turns out. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is paint it white because my plan is I bought from Joann Fabrics from Tim Holtz these decoupage items, and I thought it would be really fun to decoupage this styrofoam head and see how it turns out. I saw some other artists do it and I thought it would look really cool, so I'm going to try it. It's probably going to need a few coats to cover, but when you decoupage something, as you probably already know, a lot of the items that you're sticking on can be transparent, so you need to make sure that your background is white so that the yucky stuff doesn't show through. Here is some of the decoupage paper that I bought at the Laurel Cottage Designs. This Roycycled, some really cool stuff. Each one of these was about $7. Not a bad price. I'm going to use Mod Podge, the matte finish. I poured a little bit into this little cup here, and then I mixed it with a little bit of water so it's diluted. And here I am using a napkin to start off with, separating it from its 3 layers. Here I'm using a water pen. You could just use a paintbrush dipped in water, but this has water inside of it and you squeeze it and it acts like scissors. When decoupaging, you really don't want to have sharp lines like scissors would make if you cut it. So this weakens the material and it just tears and gives you a really nice jagged edge. First, I'm going to go ahead and coat a spot about the size of that piece of material with the Mod Podge. And then I will place the napkin on top of that area. And where I haven't gotten enough Mod Podge, I will go ahead and just finish that part up underneath. And then start coating over the top. I don't really mind wrinkles. It's going to happen especially when you're using a curved surface like this head. It's not going to lay flat, but that doesn't bother me. This next step, I used a Pennies from Heaven DIY paint to paint on eyes and lips. Next, I used a piece of trim that I got at Joann Fabrics to line the bottom of the neck. I just used some Gorilla Wood glue and some pins to keep it in place. After that dried, I used some of Debi's Design Diaries DIY wax to seal in the project, and then I went ahead and rubbed that off, and then I used the Debi's DIY dark wax to soften and antique the piece. So another item that I retrieved from my daughter's garbage was this candlestick that she had painted white. So I decided to paint it green with the DIY clay paint Eden and use it as the base for my styrofoam head. It was a little bit top heavy, so I bought a piece of wood from Joann's as well that would be serving as the base that I could glue the bottom of the candlestick to. And I painted that with the same paint. And here I am using the IOD Kindest Regards stamp with the DIY White Swan paint. Just painted that on, and now I'm pressing it in and gently taking off the stamp. And there is the impression. I think it looks really nice. After that dried, I sealed it all up with the DIY wax, the clear wax, and that actually brings the color of the paint out, which is darker than when it dries. So this seals the paint from being able to be rehydrated by water because it's clay paint and it can. And then it also lays a base down because I want to use the dark wax to sort of antique it. If you just put the dark wax down first, it is hard to rub back off, but this helps it to put a layer of like lubrication in between so that it makes it more slick and slippery to just wipe off a bit more easily and leave a light antique look rather than completely dark antique look. I apologize for not showing you the painting process of the candlestick. I must have not hit record correctly on that because it didn't record. But I did end up doing the same thing with the wax on that I did on this. And then I decoupaged a couple butterflies on it to make it look cute. Here I am rubbing off that dark wax just to leave the essence of it on there. Next thing I did was use the DIY's golden ticket to give it some luster and some highlight with the gold, just lightly brushing it on there. The next step was to glue the base of the candlestick down to the wooden plank that I had painted to become the base of the whole project with some E6000. I then used E6000 to glue down the styrofoam head to the top of the candlestick holder. So I'm getting ready to do my project with the suitcase, and I was going to paint it, but you know what? I really like the color that it is. I'm going to go ahead and leave it that color, and then I'm going to use these Iron Orchid Designs transfers on the suitcase with these big roses and stuff. I haven't decided which I'm going to lay on there yet, but we'll go ahead and decide that, and you'll see the outcome. Hope it goes well. Here is what I have chosen for the first side of the suitcase. Go ahead and take the white backing off of the transfer and then lay the transfer down. It is a little bit sticky on the back, so that really helps secure where you're going to put it. Then I took the burnishing tool that was supplied with my kit and I burnished the transfer off onto the surface. It was a little time consuming because of the multiple layers on the surface. It wasn't completely flat, but the fast motion really helps. I then took the smooth side of the transfer sheet and just secured down the transfer and made sure that it was adhered at every level. Well, there's the first part. Now I'm going to seal it with some Big Top from Debi's DIY paint. And here it is, the finished product. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, maybe you could give it a like or a thumbs up. And if you like this content, maybe you could subscribe to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.